In this help video, I'd like to look at using the Elliott wave tool in our MTPredictor programs. This is our standalone version, but the same is for our NinjaTrader add-ons as well as our TradingView scripts. I just want to look at a potential 5-wave decline on the 15-minute YM here and compare it to the NQ and show you which one is valid and which isn't and the reasons why. If we go down to the bottom here, and if I right mouse click and I do Elliott wave intermediate, can you see that it found a 5-wave sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this wouldn't be a good one to use because it doesn't start at a major pivot. So if you look at the top here, can you see the swings that are connected? Do you see where the 5-wave sequence starts? It starts here, doesn't it? If I actually do a vertical line, do you see it starts here, doesn't it? That's the start of the sequence. It does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. But can you see how this isn't at the major pivot high? This isn't at the major swing high. Because if I zoom out a bit, can you see there was another pivot just before it? So this wouldn't be really considered as a good looking valid 5-wave sequence. Compare this to the NQ. If I look at the NQ here, exactly the same. If I do Elliott wave intermediate, can you see here we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But look at the difference. Can you see here how the start of the sequence, the Elliott wave sequence, starts at the major high? So if I place the vertical line on again and go to there, can you see here how the Elliott wave sequence starts at the major high? So that will be considered a valid sequence. But if I draw the two side by side, you can just see a bit more of a comparison. So do you see the difference now? If you look at the two side by side, you see the difference. Here our 5-wave sequence or our Elliott wave sequence does not start at a major high. Do you see that? That's where the first swing pivot is. It's not at the major high here. Compare that to the NQ, which does start at the major high. So in this particular example, you could use this as a valid Elliott wave sequence because it starts at the major high. This one you shouldn't really. So this is the thing to check when you're using the isolation approach in MTPredictor. Remember, we use the isolation approach because we know and understand and accept that markets are random half the time. Therefore, you should only be looking to use an Elliott wave count when the picture's clear. Well, one of the things you need to check is for the picture to be clear, the Elliott wave sequence, whether it's a 5-wave sequence as in this example, or an ABC, or a 1, 2, 3, or whatever sequence you're looking at, it has to start at a major pivot high. In other words, it has to be like the NQ here. It has to start at the major pivot high. So this one's okay. This one that doesn't start at the major high, you shouldn't really use. Hopefully that just helps to explain a little more detail what you just need to check when using the Elliott wave tools in our MTPredictor suite of programs.